So in the marketing world, AI is the big promise, right? We hear about it constantly. But you've probably noticed there's this huge gap between all the hype and what's actually happening on the ground. Today, we're going to dive into that gap and explore why it's creating this deep cycle of mistrust that honestly affects all of us.
I mean, we've all heard it a million times. AI is supposed to be the ultimate game changer. It's going to make everything smarter, faster, and way more efficient. It's kind of become the buzzword you have to drop in every single business pitch just to be taken seriously. But is it really living up to all that hype?
Well, once you start to look past all those buzzwords, you find this massive disconnect between the slick marketing claims and the actual real-world results. In that gap, it's created these two really powerful opposing forces that are now shaping how we feel about technology itself.
Okay, let's break that down. The first of these forces is something called AI washing. It's a huge reason why so many of these AI promises feel, well, a little empty. And it's a practice that is becoming dangerously common.
And look, this isn't just a bit of marketing spin. The formal definition here is really important. It's the deliberate or negligent exaggeration of what a system can do. Think about it. You see a smart fridge that's really just connected to the internet, but it's advertised as being AI-powered. That's classic AI washing, passing off some very basic automation as true self-learning intelligence.
I love this analogy because it just nails it. It's exactly like painting go faster stripes on a car without ever touching the engine. It's all about creating the appearance of innovation, right? Tapping into all the excitement around AI without delivering any of the actual substance.
And believe me, this isn't just some theory. It is happening all over the place. Coca-Cola was pretty vague when it claimed AI co-created a new drink, but more seriously, the SEC has actually charged financial firms for lying about their strategies being AI-driven. So you see, it's everywhere, from your soda can to the highest levels of finance.
You know, the easiest way to get your head around AI washing is to realize it's part of a pattern we've seen before. It's just like greenwashing, which uses fake environmental claims to make a company look good. AI washing just inflates the tech claims to generate hype and drive up that market value. It's literally the same playbook, just swapping out one buzzword for another.
Okay, so when you have all this hype, and let's be honest, all this exaggeration, a reaction is inevitable, right? And that brings us to the second major force in this equation, AI booing. This is what happens when the public starts to push back.
So AI booing is basically what happens when those big promises fall flat. Or even worse, when the tech actually causes real-world harm. It's that skepticism, that anger, that just bubbles to the surface when these AI systems show bias, or violate our privacy, or make these weird, opaque decisions that affect our lives.
And if you dig into why this happens, at the heart of so many of these public failures is algorithmic bias. It really all comes down to that classic, simple principle. Garbage in, garbage out. If you train an AI on data that reflects our own human historical prejudices, the AI isn't just going to be biased, it's going to amplify those biases in a massive way.
And we've all seen this play out on a massive scale, haven't we? Remember when Google's Gemini started creating wildly inaccurate historical images? Or when the algorithm on X, Twitter, was found to favor lighter-skinned faces in photo previews? Some recent studies have even shown that these big language models can assign people to less prestigious jobs just based on their dialect. Look, these aren't just little bugs in the system. They're reflections of really deep biases that get baked right into the technology.
And this stuff goes way beyond just being inconvenient or offensive. In the Netherlands, a biased algorithm wrongly accused thousands of families of committing fraud, and it led to absolute financial ruin for them. A similar system in Sweden was found to disproportionately target immigrants and low-income people. These aren't glitches. These are AI failures with devastating, real-world consequences.
Okay, so we've got these two massive forces, right? The corporate hype of AI washing on one side and the public backlash of AI booing on the other. But here's the absolute key takeaway. They are not separate issues.
No, not at all. In fact, they're locked together in this really destructive cycle that's just shredding our trust in technology. So let's actually walk through this cycle, step by step. It all starts with AI washing, these huge, bold claims to get everyone's attention. But then, inevitably, the system underdelivers, or maybe a big bias scandal erupts. That triggers the AI booing, the public backlash, which naturally erodes trust. But then, instead of actually fixing the root problem, companies often just double down with more marketing, more empty promises, and more hype, which, you guessed it, kicks the entire cycle off all over again. And I want to be really clear, this is not just a PR problem. This cycle of mistrust is so damaging for everyone involved. It hurts consumers who get misled, it hurts the companies that are genuinely trying to do this stuff responsibly, and at the end of the day, it stifles real progress because it creates a market just full of cynicism and doubt.
So, the big question is, how do we break out of this cycle? Well, the good news is, there is a path forward. There's actually a clear framework for building a much healthier and much more trustworthy relationship with AI.
Look, the answer isn't to just give up on AI, it's to figure out how to do it responsibly. And this framework is built on 3 core principles that directly push back against the forces of AI washing and AI booing. These 3 pillars are transparency, ethical data management, and stakeholder collaboration. Now, they might sound a little bit like corporate buzzwords themselves, but putting them into practice is a huge deal, and it requires a real commitment.
All right, pillar number 1, transparency. This is the perfect antidote to all that AI washing we talked about. It simply means being honest about what your AI can actually do, and maybe more importantly, what it can't do. It's all about setting realistic expectations and building trust through honesty, not through hype.
Next up, pillar 2, ethical data management. And this is our answer to AI booing. This means you have to proactively hunt for bias in your data and your algorithms, and then work to fix it. It means respecting user privacy and making sure the data you're using is high quality and representative. It's really about taking ownership of the data that's fueling the whole thing.
But here's the thing. At the absolute center of all of this, there's one principle that is just non-negotiable: human agency and oversight. This isn't just about writing better code or having cleaner data. It's about having smart, skilled people in the loop to guide these systems, to question their outputs, and to make sure they actually align with our values. AI has to be a tool that supports us, not some black box that replaces us.
And so, that really leaves us with a huge question as we move forward. If we let this cycle of hype and backlash just keep going, AI risks becoming a source of constant mistrust and division. But if we really commit to a responsible framework, it can become an incredibly powerful collaborator. The path we choose is going to determine whether AI makes our world better or actually undermines it, and that choice is up to us.